And joining us tonight on News Nation to discuss the ongoing investigation into the RV explosion in Nashville is Phil Andrew. He is the principal and founder of Pax Group LLC and was an FBI special agent from 1997 to 2018. Mr. Andrew, thank you again for joining us tonight.
Glad to be with you.
So we now know more information about the suspect's past based on that press conference from investigators. Based on what we know now, how long do you think it took this person to make the explosives used in the blast?
Well, from the reporting so far, it looks like this was probably something that took a fair amount of time to plan, amass the materials, and make the arrangements. Now that we know that this was really a suicide bombing, we can make some assumptions about how long it took. And he took some steps to put his affairs in place before he did this. And a bomb of this size and loading it up into the RV would have taken some time just to amass that amount of material.
Investigators today stopped short of calling this domestic terrorism. Do you think, based on the details that we're getting so far, that this is a case of domestic terrorism and what ideology was involved, especially based on where the vehicle was parked?
You know, I think investigators are being very smart to not make those conclusions yet before finishing their investigation. The definition of domestic terrorism and international terrorism is very specific. And it won't change the way the investigators are acquiring the evidence and conducting the interviews, but it does make a difference in terms of how we might respond to this in the future. When somebody has a specific ideology that they're focused on that's motivating them to make a violent attack like this, there are law enforcement measures that could be taken to prevent that from happening again. When there aren't, it's much more challenging.
So the FBI and the ATF say they're looking into Warner's digital footprint, his financial history. As an agent, what information are they hoping to learn?
Well, in this day and age, there's a hope that he will have left maybe things on social media, things that he has spoken to with acquaintances, people that he had interactions with. And investigators will be gleaning insights into his state of mind, what difficulties or conflicts he may have had. And they're not going to eliminate anything at this point. Every little indicator of some conflict in his life, pain, concern, something that was agitating him, it will get investigators' attention and they'll follow through on it.
Are you surprised at all by how quickly this all came together in terms of the answers? Now they've concluded that it was one person, it was a suicide bombing, he's now dead. And we know that they received 500 leads. Are you surprised at how quickly this was kind of solved?
Actually, I'm not. One of the things that I think is remarkable about the response to this particular bombing is the incredible coordination between the state, federal, and among the federal agencies and among the state agencies there. And I think that you've seen that as they've spoke to the public, as they've shared this information, there clearly is a very high level of cooperation. And in a city like Nashville, where there are so many agencies represented, to see them working so closely, I think is really heartening. And I think that's partly why we've seen the speed of this investigation move so smoothly.
So it sounds like right now the big question that remains is motive, right? What steps are they taking to determine what the motive was, why he would carry something out like this on Christmas Day?
Yes, I think motive is going to be important because we want to prevent tragedies like this happening in the future, but they're going to continue to collect and analyze each piece of evidence. They're going to continue to reach out to the public for any sort of insights or interactions that the general public may have had with him, even in his prior life before retiring, when he was doing computer and network consulting. All of that is going to lead toward painting a picture of what his mindset might have been in attempting this. And there have been cases that we have not established motive very clearly. In some cases, the law enforcement investigation is unable to establish that because somebody has really cut themselves off from interacting with the general public, and we don't gain those insights. But it looks like in this case, there have been enough interactions, and that the level of collaboration among law enforcement is going to glean some interesting information.
Well, we certainly know a lot more than we did 24 hours ago. And again, we appreciate having you, Mr. Andrew. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.